Hi, I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views. And welcome today to Commissioner Julie Sande of the Department of Commerce, or rather Community Commerce, Economic Development, and that's a mouthful. Welcome, Julie. You're the new commissioner, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Uh, Commissioner, is there anything you can do to shorten that name someday? I guess it would take a statute change, but it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. I appreciate that you said that because it's a mouthful for me too. And when I was originally taking the position, I was looking at the economic development part, and I thought, well, maybe we could just shave that off and pitch that to someone else to do. But ends up that's part of the exciting piece of the department. So I think I'll keep it.
Oh, no kidding, particularly these days. Commissioner, maybe you could just tell us you're new on the job. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about your background. You I guess you grew up in Ketchikan and you were there most recently. And then maybe you could just talk a little bit about what the department does.
Thank you. Well, I grew up near Ketchikan. I didn't move to Ketchikan until I was in middle school. Before that, it was just sort of the big metropolis of Ketchikan. We would only go to town when we had doctor appointments. I grew up in a logging camp or logging camps near Ketchikan and Southeast, and it was a wonderful way to grow up. And I got to be around many of my cousins and my great uncle owned Campbell Logging at the time out on Prince of Wales. And so my dad was a logger and a road builder. My mom worked in the cookhouse. And so I had a wonderful childhood.
And then most recently, you were in Ketchikan with the Pioneers Home.
Yeah, I moved to town when we were in middle school, and my mom started there as a housekeeper. And she's a tough little Korean lady. And she, if anybody knows my mom, they would know you do what she says. And so she was smart enough to know that if I spent too much time on my own in the summers, I'd probably get into trouble. So she made me volunteer with the elders. And I'm just so grateful now more than ever about that. Um, I feel like I was raised by two wonderful parents, but also by the pioneers and elders of our state. And they really inspired me in so many ways, both in having a real appreciation for where we came from in terms of our history, but also just being good neighbors and hardworking folks. So I'm really grateful for all the lessons and the so many of the stories that the pioneers and the elders shared with me over the years.
So, Commissioner, were you director of the Pioneers Home in Ketchikan?
I was the social worker first for 5 years, I think, and then I became the administrator, and I did that until I retired. So I think I was probably the director for probably at least 17 years.
And you were there during the COVID years then,
I
2021.
was. I kept sort of ramping up my exit strategy, kept getting bumped, but so I had a long plan in place to retire. So I only caught the tail end of COVID, and of course it was heartbreaking for so many reasons, and things were changing so rapidly. So it made my exit even more difficult in terms of my really wanting to feel like I was leaving the elders in a good place, and there were so many unknowns at the time. But the leadership team in Ketchikan that was assembled, absolutely phenomenal folks, and they did a great job during the pandemic.
Well, I think you have a good agency that was backing you up too, the Department of Health and Social Services. They were very much on top of these things.
Oh yes, Commissioner Crum and his team, absolutely, and we really appreciated all of the information that we were getting, real time, but also just how thoughtful they were in making the decisions and providing leadership to us at that time.
Well, Commissioner, in your new job, what does I'm going to have to work on this and practice the department, the DCCED. What does it do? And you cover such a broad, I guess, from banking to industrial development to housing. What all does it encompass? And you must go to a lot of meetings.
I do go to a lot of meetings. Yes, I keep hearing myself say, well, when my schedule lets up, I'll be able to spend more time. And I'm starting to get a little concerned that that break isn't going to come. But so I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose a bit, but it's such an honor and a privilege to be in this seat. I have the coolest job, but um, I and I didn't fully appreciate, although I have a great deal of respect for Commissioner Anderson when she was in this seat, I just didn't fully appreciate how broad the scope is that the division encompasses. So there's 6 divisions. So yes, it's insurance and licensing, and then we have our economic development portion of that. So there's all of the divisions under the department, but then there's the corporate agencies on top of that. So Alaska Energy Authority, ADA, the railroad. So we've got a whole bunch of corporate board or corporate agencies under it, and then 6 different divisions. So between all of those things, we encompass many services and are touching lives throughout Alaska. So it's a great team.
Is among all those things, is there any part of it that you want to focus on near term? You mentioned economic development. Is there any perhaps that or another
Well, I think,
part?
anytime you take a new job, you figure out right away what needs your attention. So I'm spending quite a bit of time with certain divisions that either, not either because of COVID or other reasons sort of got off balance. I see it like, um, our mission is to build a strong economy and to protect consumers and build healthy communities. And so I try to keep those 3 things in mind every day when we're making decisions about what's best for Alaska and best for Alaskans. But I want to be really careful that we don't ever get off balance, spending too much time and attention for one over another. So I'm trying to be really balanced. At the same time, I do get really excited about economic development. I think that Alaska has so much potential. I'm so proud to be from Alaska. I mean, I think that responsible resource development is one of the things that Alaska should be very proud of having done in the past. And I'm really hoping that we can continue to do that in the future, either through Ambler Road or Red Dog is a great example. But I really am proud to be able to work on economic development and try to move that forward.
Well, Commissioner, thank you. I wanted to ask more about the logging camp, and maybe we can do that at a future time. I'd love to
I
talk.
would love, I
I'd
would
love to
love to
talk
talk to
about
you about
that.
it. Yeah, I mean, when the generator was down, there was no power, so that left kiddos trying to figure out. And I didn't have TV or even radio, so I have a very active imagination.
That's a blessing to be without TV and distractions sometimes. Well, Commissioner, thank you for joining us. We will talk again. Thank you.
Thank you.